Results achieved in the Global Fund, together with its partners, are quite extraordinary. The programs that we support have already saved, according to our estimates, more than 5.7 million lives in the last 6 years. And every day we think that it's an additional 4,000 lives that are saved and thousands of new infections that are prevented. So we present 3 scenarios for financing to the donor countries of $13 billion, $17 billion, and $20 billion over the next 3 years from 2011 to 2013. I'm going to come back in English now.
If we were to have the resources, if we were to have sufficient resources to enable countries to continue scaling up programs rapidly, we could come close to or reach, or even perhaps exceed some of the health-related Millennium Development Goals. By 2015, and what you see on this list could have seemed an aspirational or goal or utopia 8 or of course 10 years ago, but I strongly believe, and the evidence of what has been achieved in the last 5 to 10 years is there to show it. I strongly believe that by 2015 we could eliminate malaria as a public health problem in most countries where it is endemic. That is basically achieving a world without malaria deaths, prevent millions of new HIV infections, dramatically reduce deaths from AIDS, virtually eliminate transmission of HIV from mother to child, substantially reduce child mortality and improve maternal health, achieve significant declines in TB prevalence and mortality, and continue strengthening health systems. The final decisions about how much each country, including Canada, will contribute to the Global Fund for 2011 to 2013 will be announced in New York in early October. Canada and every one of you in this room has a big role to play in each of the priorities and challenges I have set out. Let me give you a few examples. I very much welcome the initiative for Maternal and Child Health Canada has been promoting. One of the topics, again, I discussed with the Prime Minister briefly this afternoon. As the host of this year's G8 and G20, Canada could make a significant difference for maternal and child health if its initiative leads to bold, coordinated, well-funded and comprehensive action, necessarily including women's sexual and reproductive health and rights. On access to treatment, Canada can make a major contribution by making Canada's access to medicines regime workable. This would facilitate access by developing countries to medicines, including fixed-dose combinations and pediatric formulations. I know a bill is currently before a parliamentary committee for study. This could make a major difference if it were ultimately adopted. And of course, the legal network, and you, Richard, in particular, have been actively engaged in efforts to reform the access to medicines regime. And I would like to use this opportunity to thank all of you and the network very warmly. This is very important work, and I hope you all are actively supporting it. And of course, I hope Canada will contribute to a robust, ambitious replenishment. Indeed, we hope Canada will significantly increase its contribution to the Global Fund. I count on all of you to be strong advocates for that replenishment. So let me conclude by thanking you. Thanks to the Canadian HIV/AIDS Legal Network for being one of the world's most principled and visionary human rights organizations. You're making an extraordinary contribution to the fight against AIDS, not only in Canada, but internationally. Thanks to all of you who are engaged in the fight for human rights in the context of AIDS in various ways. As Jonathan Mann taught us, the fight against AIDS is a fight for human rights, and the fight for human rights is an essential component of the fight against AIDS. Your work for health and human rights is changing history and bringing hope to people around the world. So together, we must continue and keep up the fight. Thank you.